Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division. Various win for the Wiseacre Ranch and the Pitstop 9-hole cup here in Golf Clash, the game. Before we take a closer look, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that do want to take the next step in their game, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtome, or you scan the QR code here on the screen to see all our packages for tournament and tour play. We are making a qualifying round guide and a final round guide in text guide and obviously video form for Master Division. So make sure to sign up for the 9-hole cup guides alone or for the 18-hole tournaments together with the 9-hole cup guides, or you can do with tour play as well. Obviously we have something for everyone. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type we suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. Hole number 1, simple wind. We're gonna play with a berserker. Those of you that do want to have an even slower needle than what is presented in the video, then you can play with a wind 0 ball, but I think this is a perfect time to actually waste many of the berserkers that we do have collected over the time. This is what we will have in the guide called as blue angle, and we're gonna start at max with the bullseye just by the rock. And then we adjust max plus 10 P5, and now in this angle we are pushing up. This is high wind, so I'm pushing up 13.5 rings, 2 right spin, 0.2 top spin, and playing with 3/4 of a ball in right curl. Playing with 3/4 of a ball in right curl allows you to hit great left and great right and perfect and avoid the bunker, especially on the right hand side. You're avoiding the bunker. Now we are with a wedge. We will be a little bit closer to the green with a perfect, even more closer with a great right and great left. It's still gonna be a simple wedge towards the pin. Second shot, we play EB School. We play either the no spin EB School, which is a plus 15% elevation P5, or we are playing the max top spin for EB7 and 8, and then we play minus 40% elevation P4 numbers. So here I'm playing the no spin. I would like to have the ball guideline to go just through the hole. That's just a precaution from my end because it's very easy to underpower slightly and we don't want to go short in line. Center the ball, it's perfect, and this is going to be a simple e-goal to start with on hole number 1. If you're looking to improve your Golf Clash game, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtome, or scan the QR code and get the best guides on the market. Hole number 2. I play with 4 left spin and 2 back spin. You can play with any side spin for wind 5 ball here. We are currently testing for wind 4 as well, which obviously will be listed in the guide. Inner ring by the rough line, I recommend to zoom in so you can see that clearly. Tip of the ball guideline to be just onto the fringe on the back. You can see the ball guideline going plenty through the hole. Now, what I would like here to do is that I would like to favor 11.59 if anything. We are obviously aiming for a straight pull, but the favor 11.59 is to avoid any 12.01, because playing with a 12.01 would risk for you to miss on the left hand side. Now, adjustment 1-to-1 minus 1.9. It is important that it is like that because we're not using Clash Caddy, because that's no accurate number to use with that. Dead center in the yellow angle, which is no curl. Then obviously we have tweaks to compensate for the other angle. Comes in a little bit hot, but based on dropping it 5 times in a row in practice and then dropping it live, I did not experience any problems with the speed that the ball comes in with. Hole number 2, very good opportunity in my opinion. Get the guide and the full details on patreon.com/golfclashtome, or scan the QR code on the screen. On the drive on hole number 3, we're gonna play the same type of drive with some smaller tweaks than what we had in the Albatross a ball 9-hole cup. What I would like us to do is to do an NMT, and we're checking the wind angle here to determine what push-up we are going to use. Max plus 10 P5, and here we're gonna use max top spin and 1 left spin with all our Apocalypse driver. Doesn't matter what level, you should always go with max top spin. This drive has been tested with the top spin amount that is for Apoc 5, 6, 7 and 8. 75% of the ball, so 3/4 of a ball of left curl. Tried it perfect, great left and great right are fine. And in the angle that you're seeing on the video, I'm pushing up 8 rings. What we would like ultimately is to have that little rollout that we're having there. That will ensure that we're gonna play with a pin check, which is going to be the best and the easiest way to drop this shot. There will happen that you will fall short. You can be shorter than 500 yards, then you're gonna play a fringe check, and we do have reference for the fringe check from the Albatross a ball 9-hole cup, which is super duper solid. But we do have now a backup for going long, which we didn't have before. And now wind angle tweaks as well that will make it much easier to control the distance and make this hole 3 an incredible good chance for an Albatross. I would strongly recommend to play with a ball that gives you 12 miles per hour per minimum in wind. You can play with a luminary with lower wind as well, but you do risk to go short, which can happen. I would then instead, if you don't have any wind 2 balls, I would rather than go up to a berserker and play the same type of shot if you do not want to spend, once again, any win 2 balls. Second shot with the pin check reference, we're gonna move up to the pin check, you see there, +5, and we're going to +6 we do have there in the end. The 3 backspin always when it comes to the pin check. Always important here in my opinion when we're not playing a landing position plus yardage to have a firm spin, because that will make sure that we do have the same type of distance when it comes to from our first bounce to the pin. Now we're gonna make an adjustment, pull over the bullseye, and we are doing a pin check which +1 is our base. That's 62% slider plus 10% elevation, P5 numbers. Pull over the bullseye, very important as well. I do think that there will always be an adjustment that pulls over the bullseye. There will be wind angle tweaks for this as well. The wind angle tweak that is here in the video is no tweak. But if we do have a wind that is more tailwind that we do have, then we do have a chance, then we do need to make a tweak for that. But obviously everything like this is listed in the guide. If you do want to get the full details and the best guides on the market, you sign up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy, or you scan the QR code on the screen. So here we are going for the hole-in-one actually. I would say that it is a chance, but it's going to be tough. Stretch out so you have the bullseye just on the left side of that tiny rock. Then we're going to check for wind angle. And this is going to be what we're going to call for blue angle. And yellow angle will then be more left of that. Adjust max +10 P5, and then we're going to push up. Here in the video I'm pushing up 12.5 rings. High wind is to prefer here because then we will have a slightly slower needle. However though, I've designed this shot so single grates on either side will still clip the rough if done everything correct. However though, if hitting a bad grate or even a good, then obviously I don't really know what's gonna happen. It won't be wet though, that I can say, but it will be giving us maybe a rough iron from the back or something like that if we hit. Again, it's just a really poor drive, we're gonna do that. Bounce into the rough, it rolls up here, coming a little bit hot though, but close for an hole-in-one. When it comes to, for those that do not have the possibility to play with a ball like this, we are going to have a layup option as well as option number 2, but that will be in the guide. So if you're looking for the full guide and all the details, you scan the QR code or go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Very pleased with this shot, and we're going to play with 2.5 backspin. At least this is what I judge to be 2.5 backspin. If you judge it to be more or less, that's up to you, but that's the backspin that we're looking for. Now, having the bullseye just by the edge of the rough with ball guideline through the hole, that might sound stupid when we do have a crosswind here, but it's not as stupid. It's not that stupid because we're gonna fall down into the bunker with our adjustment always. Doesn't matter what angle we're having, we're always gonna adjust down into the bunker, so we are going to lose speed. So that's why I'm starting with the bullseye so high up with my original landing spot, just to compensate for not having to go with overpower or push up or something like that. Here I'm using no curl in this angle, and obviously we will be using wind angle tweaks in other angles as well. So bouncing into the rough, you can see we'll bounce center into the rough, and we're getting it dead center for a lovely hole-in-one. This dropped loads in practice and also dropped it live. If you do want to get the full details for the shots and the best guides on the market, scan the QR code or go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Hole number 6, we're starting with a quarterback in NMT, moving 5 rings to the right and swapping to a POC and Cataclysm bag. If you do have a big dog in level 9, then I would use that one over Cataclysm level 5. 7 top, 2 right. This shot has been tested with 5.8 topspin as well, because that is a POC 5 user's topspin. Adjust max plus 10 P5, and if you do have a wind that is above 11.4 miles per hour, you're going to play 100% max overpower and max right curl. Been hitting double great left, double great right, and has still been safe. However though, it's not something that I would calculate to be all the time, especially high wind. A double great right might be a problem. You can swap to a wind 4 ball if you do want to have less wind, but I see no point wasting any fancy balls here on this drive, in my opinion. When it comes to single greats are just fine. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but it's a very safe drive. On the second shot, we're gonna use 2 left spin and 6.5 top spin, and once we have added that, we're looking for 2 things. The first one is the second bounce. You can see we want that to be just by the line between the 2 rough patches, with the tip of the ball guideline somewhat pointing towards the center of the bunker. I would say like this: it's better to be a little bit shorter than intended than longer, and the reason for that is that if you are if you're starting too far up, you might miss the rough with your second bounce if you do hit a great left. So that's why you should be cautious about that. That's the only thing really on this shot. Adjust from +3 landing position, 62% slider, +10% elevation, P5 numbers, and then we're adding or subtracting 0.1 from there. Goal is to clip the rough and roll out the great left. A great left will clip the edge of the rough, whereas a perfect and a great right will have more rough to play on. The third shot is going to be a super simple wedge where you can just eyeball it and get it into the hole. Overpower on the second shot if you need to. If you adjust into it, you use whatever overpower you adjust into. I doubt that will be the case for those playing Apoc 6 plus of T, but could be something that will be needed for Apocalypse level 5 users. Start with quarterback in NMT, and I'm starting with a power 4 ball. Then you can decide yourself what you want to do. If you want to swap then to a power 5 ball to have a slower needle, or you want to stick with the power 4 ball. It's a power 4 plus, side spin 2 plus, wind 3 or wind 4. I would recommend wind 4, but it is tested, and the drive and the second shot is makeable with a luminary as well. After I've done everything with the quarterback, I'm swapping to Apocalypse and B52 or the Grizzly bag. If you do not have B52 level 7 plus, then you play with the Grizzly level 9 instead. This as we do want and need the ball guideline for the second shot. You could see there on the screen that with the needle for a power 5 ball, the needle is very makeable to hit perfect. A power 4 ball will still have a slower needle, but it will obviously be a bit shakier. And therefore I'm playing personally with a power 5 ball, so I'm doing an extra swap there to make it a little bit easier for me when it comes to the drive. But it's not something that is a must. Max curl to the right, max overpower is already explained, and we're looking to be somewhere around 380 to 390 yards. On the second shot, we're going to add 2 right spin and 3 top spin, all to make it simple when it comes to the spins, because the difficult part here with the second shot is to have the ball guideline to be 5 green squares short of pin. If you do have a perfect drive, your B52 will be in around +9 and +10. And that's something to have as a reference, so you're not fiddling around too much. You can see that I backed up just a little bit because I were a little bit too high, and in this angle we're not going to use any tweaks whatsoever. Pull twice over the bullseye, and we do have 88% slider plus 10% elevation, P4 numbers from the base of +8. So in this instance I'm adding 0.2 to my adjustment. For those of you that are playing with Grizzly, I strongly recommend to play with a power 5 ball, because if you are unlucky, you might be in between clubs if you do play with a power 4 ball. For a B52, you can play with a P4 ball as well in a nice way. Coming in dead center here for a lovely eagle on a tough par 4. It's played tough, this one, here on hole number 7. Hole number 8, we're gonna play with 1 right spin and 2.6 backspin, or a heavy 2.5. You judge obviously the backspin to what it shows for your eyes. So I'm gonna look here to be just by the edge of the rough, still with the ball guideline shown. Now we're gonna go with the ball guideline arc on the left side of the cup. So basically the right side of the ball guideline is gonna be by the pin. I would like to avoid 1159 here. I still want us to pull straight, but if you should favor any side, favor 1201. In this angle, we do have a high wind first and foremost, and let's talk about the adjustment. It's 1 to 1 minus 0.3, so I'm adjusting 8.2 rings. This is an angle here that I judged as an in-between angle. I played 2 clicks of left curl due to the fact that we are having a high wind. Obviously all the wind angle tweaks will be listed in Telegram, but also in the guide. In my opinion, this is a really good chance. When it comes to what ball to use, you can use even a power 1 ball. So you can play with a power 1 up to power 5 ball. I would prefer to play with a wind 5 ball that gives me side spin 1. This to avoid having any trouble getting the correct side spin. If you want to get the guide and all the details, you subscribe to patreon.com/golf-tommy. You can also scan the QR code and you get go directly to the site. Hole number 9, option number 1. This is a way for us to attack for the albatross with a very tough wind. I strongly advise you to not follow this shot and follow the option 2, which will be out in version 1.0 of our guide, which will be more safer way of just locking in the eagle, but the albatross won't be any chance whatsoever. Start with the quarterback at with white ring to the right by the rough line at max. Then swap to Thor's hammer and the guardian bag. Thor's hammer level 8 after the adjustment of max no elevation P5 shall push up 3 yards. When it comes to Thor's hammer level 7, you shall always push up to absolute max. I've tested this with Apocalypse level 8 too. The unfortunate thing with that is that we are not really getting as far as we would like. We're gonna go max overpower, half a ball of right curl, and the more we are on the right side of the fairway, the better it will be angle-wise for the second shot. We do want and need to get over 415 yards to feel confident with that we will be having enough space to adjust on the second shot. So this is an aggressive option, playing with the best clubs in the game and playing with the best ball in the game too. You can't play, I've tried to play with a tiki ball, should be said as well. The problem with the tiki ball is that it doesn't give you the angle on the second shot, and it then makes you risk going having to adjust too close to the rough line, and then you will clip the rough more or less every single time, even though it doesn't look like it, but that's just how it works. On the second shot, we're playing with one left spin and one top spin. We're looking to be just by the very edge of the rough line with our second bounce. The reason we do use the left spin is to remove ourselves from the rough line. We will bounce close enough for even with one left spin. If we could have had two left spin, I would rather have that instead. If you do happen to clip the rough with your first bounce here, you play just a normal rescue option with an EB school plus 20 P5. Adjustment here now is going to be 90% slider plus 10% elevation P5 numbers, and that is from +5 landing spot with our Guardian. Center the ball and hit perfect, and it will give you a chance. I can't sit here to say that it's gonna be in, but I can sit here and say that if you do hit perfect and you adjust it correctly, it will most definitely be around the hole with a chance for an albatross. In the end, as I said in the beginning of this video, that there is no point taking the risk if you feel just a little bit uncomfortable. Then if so, you wait for the layup option that will be posted in version 1.0 qualifying round guide, and you just take your eagle and then to be done with it. This is an option where we do want to present a way of attacking for the albatross, even though it's difficult and it requires a good club and it requires a good ball. If you do want to get the full details, you scan the QR code or you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division for Whiteacre Ranch and the Pitstop 9-hole cup here in Golf Clash the game. We are doing a guide for the qualifying round and for the final round for Master Division. Sign up for the 9-hole cup guides alone, or you bundle it together for the 18-hole tournaments and or tour play guide. Scan the QR code there or go through the link that is patreon.com/golfclashtommy that you can find in the description down below. Thank you once again for watching. Good luck in the Golf Clash game.